Okay, so a little POS update here on my POS cars. I got this. This is my newest one in my collection, but I got the Volvo here, and the Volvo needs a new alternator. So I figured I'd make a video on how to install an alternator. This is what an alternator looks like. Alternator is basically what creates electrical energy for your car to keep your lights on, your wiper blades on, your fuel injection on. Basically spins on a pulley. It's basically the opposite of it's a small generator, but it's not really a generator. It's actually an alternator. It alternates mechanical energy into electrical energy. And on this one, this is a Bosch one. Bosch is German, and it was actually made in Germany. I don't know if you can tell that. It says made in Germany right there. But these are the leads that come off the back. And this car, the Volvo, this alternator is bad. This is the pulley that keeps spinning, and this looks like an okay alternator, but the problem I'm kind of concerned is, if you can tell on the cooling fins on the pulley, if you can tell right there, they're kind of cracked. I don't know if I like that or not. I'm not sure. Might want to change out the cooling on that. But so that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna replace this alternator and make a video of it, how to replace, so you can replace the alternator on your own car. Okay, when you start a job like this, you want to inspect everything that you're going to need. I was watching the video yesterday, and the guy said he said his father always told him, "Son, you're too poor to buy cheap tools." And if you think about that, it makes a lot of sense, because if you buy cheap tools, you're just going to have to buy them again. So if you're going to buy cheap tools, I definitely recommend buying mid-grade stuff, like Craftsman. Don't buy the cheap stuff like made in China, because the problem is a lot of times it's not ground properly, and you round off your nuts, and when you go to tighten them again, or if you're doing automotive work, it's hard to reassemble stuff for a third time or whatever. So try to buy American-made tools. But anyway, I'm looking at this project. I'm going to need some sockets, some wrenches, some smaller sockets to go back here for the leads, and probably about 2 hours. Okay, first thing I need to do is to take the alternator out. There's some rubber bushings right here, and then there's a long nut. I'm going to take that off, and I know there's a nut down here, which is right there. I'm going to need to take that off as well. I already took this off in the junkyard, so I pretty much know what the deal is. Okay, so I got my bolts loosened. And another thing I want to plug real quick is for more auto repair videos, check out Bob's Auto Repair channel. Address is www.youtube.com/Bob's Auto Repair. I'll put a link in the sidebar, but I wanted to definitely plug that channel. He's got some great repair how-to videos on there. But I got my bolts loose off my alternator. I took it out of the belt. All I have to do now is, I got the leads back here. I just take the leads off and hook my new, used different alternator up, and I should be good to go. Before I go on, before I forget, two things I want to put out real quick. Whenever you're doing small jobs, whether you're working on a lawnmower or taking apart a car or whatever, you're going to have a lot of small parts. Always have some place to keep your small parts. This is a McDonald's cup. Works just fine. Don't just leave stuff up like I'm kind of doing right here. Don't do that. That's not smart. Because if it falls on the ground, you'll never find it. And a lot of stuff you can't replace. A lot of times there's specialty nuts and bolts that just can't be replaced. And you have to spend more time looking for it. So try to keep your parts and your tools separate, and keep them to where you know where they are, and so you don't drop them. Okay, so I got the old alternator out. As you can see there, I loosened up the leads, and this is what I'm talking about when I say the fins are cracked. See, the fins are on this pulley. The fins are okay. These are cooling fins, cool down the alternator. But on this one, the one I got out of the junkyard, see how they're cracked? Something must have got in there when I was working or something, and they just cracked. I take a closer look. This is the air pump, and this right here is the tensioner. But I'm not going to use that. I would tighten it or loosen it to put tension on the belt. Right here, you don't want to mess with the belt. Now, not all cars look the same. This is a Volvo, and it's pretty easy to work on. If you have a domestic car, which I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you in the truck here. This is the alternator in the truck. Pretty much all alternators are the same. They all put out 12 volts. They all operate 12 volt systems, but the workload is different. The amount of amperage they put out. So, like, here's the alternator on the domestic vehicle. I'm using a foreign vehicle. And on the domestic vehicle, it's pretty much the same setup. So, doing an alternator, I'd say it's an intermediate job. You can do it though, trust me. Okay, now I need to reassemble the alternator and put it back in. Obviously, that's the same. It's just the opposite of taking it out. Nah. Okay, it's now I got the other alternator in. Just give a once over on your work. Next time, whenever you do something, nice and firm. What I don't like is there's a little bit of slop in the belt. If the pulley doesn't have enough tension, it won't turn properly. So I might want to tighten it up a little bit. Not really sure, but we're going to try to start it up and see if it works. It'll either blow up or work properly. And I'm putting my money on blow up. Okay, I got the alternator replaced. Seems to be working, but look at the belt. So I think we're going to need a little... See how it's hopping like that? It's not supposed to hop like that. It needs a little bit of tension. So we'll put a little bit of tension on that belt, make that belt taut, and then it should work better. But right now I just want to get the battery charged up, so I don't have to jump it again. I had to jump it. The car won't run without an alternator. It'll run on battery, but the newer cars won't run on alternators because you need electricity to power your fuel injection. So let me tighten up that alternator just a little bit, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, looks like we got a little bit, needs a little bit more tension. The belt is jumping around a little bit. It's pretty tight, there's a lot of tension on there, but it's working, If I had a bad alternator, it wouldn't have been running right now. My battery was completely dead, so it is working. It's got a little bit of a hum, and I'm seeing how hot that alternator gets without those cooling fins working properly, but it's working. Job done. Now we got to do a review on that, and we'll be done. Alrighty, this is how to change an alternator. Keep your faith. God bless you.